The deception unveiled the hour. Alina Vasquez stood at the observation deck of Station Meridian, watching the stars sparkle against the endless black of space. The station floated in neutral territory, far from Earth's solar system. Alina had been Earth's chief diplomatic officer for 8 years, and she had never seen anything quite like what was happening today. Her coffee grew cold as she stared at the incoming message on her tablet. The seal of the Zephyrian Empire glowed on the screen, and Alina knew this meant trouble. The Zephyrians were the most powerful alien race in this part of the galaxy, controlling over 40 star systems. They had been watching Earth for the past decade, and Alina had always wondered when they would make their move. The message was simple but threatening. Emperor Karios of the Zephyrian Empire was giving humanity 72 hours to surrender. Earth would become a protectorate under Zephyrian rule, or face complete destruction. Alina read the ultimatum 3 times, her heart beating faster with each reading. What the Zephyrians did not know was that Alina had been waiting for this moment her entire career. She pressed a hidden button on her desk, sending an encrypted signal that traveled faster than light to a secret location deep in space. On the bridge of the starship Prometheus, Captain Marcus Chen received Alina's signal. Marcus was a tall man with dark hair and calm brown eyes. He had been commanding humanity's most advanced warships for 15 years, but the aliens had never seen him or his fleet. That was about to change. The Prometheus was hiding behind a massive asteroid field in the Kepler system, along with 50 other human vessels. These ships looked nothing like the crude rockets and shuttles that aliens had observed near Earth. The Prometheus had sleek black hull that could bend light around itself, making it invisible to alien sensors. Its weapons could tear apart planets, and its engines could travel between star systems in minutes. Marcus turned to his crew. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have received the signal from Dr. Vasquez. Operation Revelation begins now. All ships, prepare to show the galaxy what humanity can really do." For 60 years, Earth had been running to completely separate space programs. The public program used old-fashioned rockets and basic technology. This was what the aliens saw when they watched humanity. They thought humans were barely capable of reaching their own moon. The secret program was completely different. Earth's greatest scientists and engineers had been working in hidden facilities on the far side of the moon, on Mars, and in asteroid belts throughout the solar system. They had developed technology that was centuries ahead of anything the aliens possessed. Dr. Sarah Kim was one of those scientists. She worked in a massive underground laboratory beneath the surface of Mars. The facility was so well hidden that alien satellites had flown directly over it, without detecting anything unusual. Sarah was the head of the quantum physics division, and she had spent 20 years developing weapons that could manipulate space and time itself. Sarah received Marcus's signal on her screens. She turned to her team of researchers and technicians. "This is what we have been preparing for our entire lives. Initialize the quantum drive network and prepare all defensive systems. It is time to protect our home. High above Earth, Admiral." Jessica Torres commanded the hidden defense fleet from her flagship, the Invictus. Jessica was a veteran of many secret missions, having spent years infiltrating alien space to gather intelligence. The aliens thought she was just a simple merchant, but she had actually been studying their military tactics and weaknesses. The Invictus was surrounded by 300 other human warships, all of them invisible to alien detection. These ships had been quietly positioning themselves around Earth for months, waiting for the moment when humanity would need to reveal its true strength. Jessica opened a communication channel to every human vessel in the solar system, all ships. This is Admiral Torres. We have protected Earth's secret for 6 decades. Today, we show the galaxy that humanity is not weak or primitive. We are the guardians of freedom, and we will not surrender. Meanwhile, the Zephyrian fleet was approaching Earth with overwhelming confidence. Commander Zale led the invasion force from his massive dreadnought, the Star Crusher. Zale was a typical Zephyrian warrior, standing 8 feet tall with blue-gray skin and 4 arms. His species had conquered dozens of worlds, and he expected Earth to surrender without a fight. The Zephyrian fleet consisted of 200 warships, each one larger than anything humans had ever built, according to their intelligence reports. Their plasma cannons could destroy cities, and their energy shields could withstand attacks from multiple planets. Zale believed that humanity would take one look at his fleet and immediately surrender. Commander, Zale opened a communication channel. To Earth, primitive humans, you see our fleet approaching your world. We offer you one final chance to surrender peacefully. Submit to the Zephyrian Empire, and your species will be allowed to exist as workers in our colonies. Alina Vasquez responded from Station Meridian. Commander Zale, humanity appreciates your offer, but we must respectfully decline. Earth chooses to remain independent. Zale laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through his ship's bridge. Your bravery is admirable but foolish, human. You have no weapons that can threaten our fleet. Your largest ships are smaller than our fighters. Surrender now, or watch your planet burn. Alina smiled as she looked at her tactical displays. Commander, I think there has been a misunderstanding. You seem to believe that humanity is defenseless. Allow me to correct that impression. Alina pressed another button, and something incredible happened. All around the Zephyrian fleet, space began to shimmer and ripple. What had appeared to be empty vacuum was suddenly filled with human warships. The aliens found themselves surrounded by vessels that dwarfed their own dreadnoughts. Commander Zale stared at his screens in shock. His sensors had detected nothing unusual just moments before, but now they showed hundreds of human ships appearing from nowhere. The vessels had technology that his science officers could not explain or understand. Captain Marcus Chen's voice came over the communication channel. Commander Zale, welcome to Earth's solar system. I am Captain Marcus Chen of the Earth Defense Force. You are now surrounded by the 3rd Fleet of humanity's Space Navy. Zale's 4 hands trembled as he studied the tactical displays. Each human ship was larger and more advanced than his flagship. Their hulls were made of materials he had never seen before, and they were generating energy readings that should have been impossible. This cannot be real, Zale whispered to his science officer. Our intelligence reports said that humans barely had spaceflight capability. Dr. Alina Vasquez appeared on Zale's main screen, still sitting calmly at Station Meridian. Commander, your intelligence reports were based on our public space program. What you observed were training exercises and civilian operations. Our military space program has been hidden from your sensors for 60 years. The revelation was staggering. The Zephyrians had spent decades studying humanity, watching their rocket launches and monitoring their communications. Everything they had seen suggested that humans were centuries behind Zephyrian technology. The truth was completely different. Asterisk. Dr. Sarah Kim activated the Mars defense grid from her hidden laboratory. Across the surface of the red planet, massive weapons platforms rose from concealed positions. These platforms could generate artificial gravity fields, create miniature black holes, and bend the laws of physics in ways that alien science could not comprehend. Admiral Jessica Torres gave the order for a demonstration. All ships, prepare to show our guests what human engineering can accomplish. Target the asteroid belt and begin matter conversion. The human fleet turned their weapons toward a collection of large asteroids floating near Mars. Beams of energy shot out from dozens of ships, but these were not destructive weapons. Instead, they were matter reorganization arrays that could transform any substance into anything else. The Zephyrians watched in amazement as the asteroids began to change shape and composition. Rock and ice were converted into complex metal alloys and advanced materials. Within minutes, the asteroids had been transformed into a massive space station, complete with docking bays, living quarters, and defensive systems. Commander Zale's voice was barely a whisper. How is this possible? Matter conversion on this scale should require the energy output of an entire star. Captain Marcus Chen smiled as he responded. Human science took a different path than yours, Commander. While your people perfected energy weapons and plasma shields, we learned to manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe. Space, time, matter, and energy are all tools that we can use. The demonstration continued as human ships began reshaping the battlefield itself. They created new planets from cosmic dust, opened temporary wormholes that connected distant parts of the solar system, and generated protective fields that could stop any attack. Dr. Elena Vasquez contacted Emperor Karios directly on the Zephyr home world. The Emperor appeared on her screen, his blue-gray face showing confusion and concern. He had been confident that his fleet would easily conquer Earth, but now he was receiving reports that made no sense. Impero. Hadius? Elena said respectfully. I believe we need to have a serious conversation about the future of our two species. Your fleet is currently discovering that humanity is not as primitive as you believed. The Emperor studied intelligence reports from Commander Zale's fleet. Every piece of information contradicted everything the Zephyrians thought they knew about humans. Ambassador Vasquez, explain to me how your species has hidden technology this advanced for so many years. Elena chose her words carefully. Your Majesty, humans have always been good at adaptation and deception when necessary. When we first detected your transmissions 30 years ago, we decided to observe and learn before making contact. We wanted to understand your intentions before revealing our capabilities. What Elena did not tell the Emperor was that humans had been expecting this confrontation for decades. Earth's leaders had studied the history of the Zephyrian Empire and saw a pattern of conquest and subjugation. Every species that the Zephyrians encountered either surrendered or was destroyed. Humanity had chosen a third option: preparation. The secret space program had been building fleets, developing weapons, and establishing hidden bases throughout the galaxy. Human agents had infiltrated Zephyrian territory, posing as traders and diplomats while gathering intelligence. The aliens had never suspected that the primitive humans they were studying were actually planning for war. Commander Zale tried to retreat with his fleet, but discovered that his ship's engines were not functioning properly. The human vessels were projecting some kind of field that interfered with Zephyrian technology. His plasma weapons would not charge, his shields were flickering, and his navigation systems were giving contradictory readings. Captain Marcus Chen opened another communication channel. Commander, your weapons are temporarily disabled for everyone's safety. We do not wish to harm your crews, but we cannot allow you to threaten Earth. Please maintain your current position while our leaders discuss the situation. The Zephyrian Empire had ruled through fear and superior technology for over 2 centuries. Now they were facing a species that could neutralize their advantages with ease. Every assumption they had made about galactic politics was proving to be wrong. Dr. Sarah Kim was monitoring the situation from Mars, watching as human technology overwhelmed the aliens' most advanced systems. Her quantum manipulation devices were creating energy fields that made Zephyrian weapons useless. It was like watching medieval knights trying to fight modern soldiers. Admiral Jessica Torres was coordinating with human fleets throughout the galaxy. The revelation near Earth was just the beginning. Across dozens of star systems, hidden human bases were revealing themselves, and Zephyrian outposts were discovering that they had been under observation for years. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity had been quietly spreading among the stars, building an invisible empire based on technology and intelligence rather than conquest and fear. The revelation and new alliance. The Zephyrian homeworld of Zephy's Prime had never experienced a day like this one. Emperor Karios stood in his throne room, surrounded by advisors who were struggling to understand the reports coming in from across the empire. Human fleets were appearing near every major Zephyrian installation, revealing technology that challenged everything they thought they knew about the galaxy. General Thane, the Empire's military commander, was reading tactical reports with increasing disbelief. Your Majesty, our forces are reporting the same thing from 17 different star systems. Human vessels are decloaked near our bases, demonstrating capabilities that should not exist. Emperor Karios had ruled the Zephyrian Empire for 40 years, expanding its territory and crushing all opposition. He had never faced a situation like this one. How many human ships are we detecting? Over 2,000, Your Majesty, General Thane replied. They have bases in systems we thought were uninhabited. They have been watching us for decades without our knowledge. The Emperor's blue-grey skin grew darker with anger and confusion. This is impossible. Our sensors are the most advanced in the galaxy. How could an entire civilization hide from us? Dr. Elena Vasquez answered that question from her station in neutral space. Her image appeared on the Emperor's communication screen, and she looked completely calm despite the massive military confrontation happening throughout the galaxy. Your Majesty, Elena said, Zephyrian technology is indeed advanced, but it operates on principles that you understand. Human science developed along different paths. We learned to manipulate forces that your sensors cannot detect. To demonstrate her point, Elena activated a device on her desk. The space around Station Meridian began to ripple and bend. The station itself seemed to fade in and out of existence, becoming invisible to Zephyrian sensors while remaining perfectly visible to human detection systems. We call this quantum phase shifting, Elena explained. It allows us to exist in the same space as you while being completely undetectable. We have been using this technology to observe your empire for 30 years. Captain Marcus Chen was coordinating the galaxy-wide revelation from his flagship. The Prometheus had moved to a position between Earth and the Zephyrian fleet, its weapons powered but not aimed at any targets. Marcus wanted to demonstrate strength without appearing aggressive. All human vessels, this is Captain Chen, he announced. Begin Phase 2 of Operation Revelation. Show our guests what we can build. Across the galaxy, human construction fleets began working on projects that amazed the Zephyrian observers. Near the edge of Zephyrian space, Commander Yara watched from her observation post as human ships approached a dead solar system. The system contained nothing but a dying star and several barren planets. Commander Yara was a Zephyrian intelligence officer who had spent years studying primitive species. She had written reports dismissing humanity as barely capable. Now she was watching those same humans do something that her species considered impossible. Asterisk. The human fleet began working on the dying star itself. Ships that were larger than Zephyrian cities positioned themselves around the star and began projecting energy fields. Slowly, the star began to stabilize and grow brighter. The human ships were actually repairing a dying sun, giving it new life and energy. This violates every law of physics, Commander Yara whispered to herself. Stars cannot be repaired. They die according to natural processes that cannot be reversed. Dr. Sarah Kim's voice came over the communication channel from her base on Mars. Commander Yara, stellar engineering is one of humanity's specialties. We learned to manipulate nuclear fusion processes about 20 years ago. A dying star is simply a problem to be solved. The human ships continued their work, and within hours the dying star was shining as brightly as it had in its youth. But they were not finished. The fleet then moved to the barren planets in the system and began transforming them into worlds suitable for life. Atmosphere processors created breathable air around dead rocks. Matter conversion arrays turned sterile soil into rich earth capable of supporting plants and animals. Weather control systems established rainfall patterns and seasonal cycles. In a single day, the humans had transformed a dead solar system into a paradise. Admiral Jessica Torres was overseeing similar projects throughout human space. From her flagship, she could see construction teams building new worlds, creating space stations larger than most moons, and establishing trade routes that connected distant parts of the galaxy. Imperor. Harius, Admiral Torres said, opening a communication channel to the Zephyrian homeworld. Humanity would like to make you an offer. Instead of conquest and submission, we propose cooperation and mutual benefit. The Emperor was still struggling to process what he was seeing. His empire had been built on the principle that might made right. The strongest species conquered the weaker ones, and that was the natural order of the galaxy. But humans were demonstrating power beyond his understanding, while offering partnership instead of domination. What kind of cooperation? Emperor Corios asked carefully. Dr. Elena Vasquez took over the conversation. Your Majesty, the Zephyrian Empire controls rich mining worlds and has expertise in energy production. Humanity has developed advanced manufacturing and terraforming capabilities. Together, we could build a civilization that benefits both our species. To demonstrate what she meant, Elena activated a holographic display that showed the galaxy as it could become. Instead of the current situation where the Zephyrians ruled through fear and humans hid in the shadows, the display showed a future of shared prosperity. New trade routes connected Zephyrian worlds with human colonies. Joint research stations studied problems that affected the entire galaxy. Terraforming projects created new worlds where both species could live together. It was a vision of cooperation instead of conquest. Commander Zale, whose fleet was still disabled near Earth, found himself reconsidering everything he thought he knew about warfare and politics. His career had been built on intimidating weaker species into submission, but humans had shown that they could disable his entire fleet without firing a single shot. Captain Chen, Zale said over the communication channel, I must ask you something. Your species clearly has the power to destroy my fleet and conquer Zephyrian space. Why are you offering partnership instead of demanding surrender? Captain Marcus Chen considered the question carefully. Commander, Humanity learned something from our own history. When advanced civilizations encounter less advanced ones, conquest usually leads to suffering for everyone involved. We decided to try a different approach. What Marcus did not explain was that humans had been studying Zephyrian culture for decades. They understood that the Empire's aggressive expansion was actually driven by resource scarcity on their home worlds. The Zephyrians conquered other planets because they needed raw materials and energy to support their growing population. Dr. Sarah Kim had been working on solutions to these problems from her laboratory on Mars. Her research teams had developed technologies that could solve resource scarcity without the need for conquest. Matter conversion could turn abundant elements into rare materials. Energy manipulation could provide unlimited power from stars and black holes. Your Majesty, Dr. Kim said, addressing Emperor Kerios directly, we have studied your empire's resource needs. Human technology can provide everything your people require without the need to conquer other worlds. We can teach you to create abundance instead of taking it from others. The offer was tempting, but Emperor Kerios had to consider the political implications. His empire was built on military strength and the fear it inspired. If he accepted human partnership, what would happen to his authority? Elena Vasquez seemed to read his thoughts. Your Majesty, we are not asking you to abandon your leadership. We are suggesting that you lead your people into a new era of prosperity and growth. Instead of being remembered as a conqueror, you could be remembered as the emperor who brought the galaxy into an age of cooperation. General Thane was studying the tactical situation from the Zephyrian capital. Every military report showed the same thing. Human forces were positioned throughout Zephyrian space, but they were not attacking or threatening civilian populations. Instead, they were offering aid to planets that had been damaged by previous wars. Your Majesty, General Thane said quietly. Our military cannot defeat these humans. Their technology is too advanced, and they have been preparing for this confrontation longer than we have existed as an empire. But they are not acting like conquerors. Emperor Kerios made a decision that would change galactic history. Dr. Vasquez, humanity's offer is intriguing. I propose that we begin with small-scale cooperation projects to see how well our species can work together. The first joint project was the restoration of Kepler 438b, a world that had been devastated by mining operations decades earlier. Human terraforming teams worked alongside Zephyrian engineers to rebuild the planet's ecosystem and establish sustainable colonies. Captain Marcus Chen oversaw the project from orbit, watching as former enemies worked side by side to create something beautiful. Zephyrian workers learned human techniques for atmospheric processing, while human scientists studied Zephyrian methods for deep core mining that did not damage planetary environments. Within months, Kepler 438b was transformed from a scarred wasteland into a thriving world with cities that combined the best aspects of both civilizations. Zephyrian architecture provided strength and durability, while human technology ensured comfort and efficiency. Admiral Jessica Torres established the first joint military academy on the restored world. Young officers from both species trained together, learning cooperation instead of conquest. The Academy's motto became strength through unity, reflecting the new philosophy that both civilizations were adopting. Dr. Elena Vasquez was appointed as the first ambassador of interspecies relations, a new position created to manage the growing partnership between humans and Zephyrians. Her first major success was negotiating the Treaty of Mutual Assistance, which established formal diplomatic relations and trade agreements. Asterisk. The treaty also included provisions for joint exploration of unknown regions of the galaxy. Human stealth technology, combined with Zephyrian military strength, would allow both species to discover new worlds and civilizations without the fear, an aggression that had characterized previous first contact situations. Emperor Carios signed the treaty in a ceremony broadcast throughout both civilizations. As he attached his seal to the document, he spoke words that would be remembered for generations. Today, we choose cooperation over conquest and abundance over scarcity. Together, we will build a galaxy where strength serves peace and technology serves life. The ceremony was held aboard Harmony Station, a massive space station that had been constructed jointly by human and Zephyrian engineers. The station served as a symbol of what the two species could accomplish together, featuring technology and architecture that neither could have created alone. Commander Zale, who had once led the invasion fleet against Earth, was now commanding the first mixed-species crew in galactic history. His ship, rechristened the Unity, patrolled the border regions where human and Zephyrian space met, protecting trade routes and assisting colonies established by both civilizations. The galaxy had been transformed from a place of fear and conquest into a realm of cooperation and growth. The revelation of humanity's hidden strength had not led to war, but to the greatest partnership in galactic history. Both species had learned that true power came not from the ability to destroy, but from the wisdom to create and protect. Dr. Sarah Kim established the first joint research facility, where human and Zephyrian scientists worked together to solve problems that affected the entire galaxy. Their first major breakthrough was the development of universal medical technology that could treat diseases affecting any known species. As the partnership between humans and Zephyrians grew stronger, other civilizations began to take notice. Species that had been hiding from Zephyrian expansion began to emerge, hoping to join the new galactic federation that was being formed. The galaxy had learned that the greatest military power was not the ability to conquer others, but the wisdom to transform enemies into allies. Humanity's hidden strength had been revealed not through destruction, but through the offer of a better future for everyone. Asterisk.